I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Good morning for me. My name is Sunsfan. Joining me is Cinder, and we have Bait versus Team Secret Cinderin for the Beyond Epic League group stage. And it's actually an interesting story because Bait are second to last in the group right now. This is their last match, and if my math is correct, which it probably isn't because I reside in NA, I believe they not only have to 2-0 Secret, but Secret has another match today, their final one. They need to get 0-2'd by OG in order for Bait to make it in. Wow, I'm correct. Excellent.
No big deal. Just 2-0 secret and then hope they lose. That's your job for today.
Yes.
Right, like it was ugly. There was bad cohesion in the team. Now they've completely rebuilt the roster. Basically, the only player that stayed from the original iteration is Dendi, and they're doing quite a bit better, honestly. Not a top tier team by any means, but they're.
我是一个没有感情的刷钱机器。
Yes, and that is obviously great to see for all the Dendi fans out there, which is literally everyone. Pretty sure you're a sadist if you're not a Dendi fan on some level, Cinderin. But Secret, they're actually coming off a 2-0 loss to Team Enigma yesterday. They played sometime after the series that we cast, which, I mean, it's not like the craziest thing in the world, but getting 2-0'd in a best of 3 Secret, that I looked at their picks and it's not like the most typical stuff either. So maybe they were, not to be that guy, but they were picking some stuff that I'm personally not used to seeing then, at least not the combinations. But either way, we'll see if they bring their A game today. So we got a lot of the zoo characters being banned out. Beastmaster, Nature's Prophet, Lone Druid, and then the other side, Team Secret, taking out the Monkey King, who's also in the zoo because it's an animal. Phoenix, who resides over the zoo because every zoo needs sunlight, and Oracle can foresee the zoo closing the next patch, so he's banned. And then Bane, just whatever.
Bane
Animals
will give
have
everybody nightmares about being in the zoo even after it's nerfed.
Yes, precisely. Thank you. We have to make an analogy for this last ban, Cinderin, which... Do you want to make a quick prediction?
I mean, it could be Lycan, honestly. Then it kind of explains itself, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure what else Bait would go for banning here. Is there anything else that really stands out? There's Enchantress and Chen. They might try to do a trade. No, there goes the final animal. So,
okay.
Bye to all the animals.
Very good to see. Do you think in the next big patch is it going to be more nerfs to the heroes themselves or nerfs to like items like Necro, or maybe a combination of the two?
I think Necronomicon will get nerfed. I feel pretty strongly that that item needs it. If you don't nerf Necronomicon, you specifically need to nerf multiple heroes instead, and I feel like that's a less elegant solution, right? Like, then you're kind of just... I don't even know, like, if... how you need to nerf all these heroes if Necro remains the way it is, so that if in the future you nerf Necronomicon, or so that the... how to say... It's a difficult balance to strike, because you also want other heroes to still be able to buy Necronomicon, so that the item doesn't just disappear. So maybe what I'm hoping for is a slight nerf to Necronomicon and a slight nerf to the heroes, instead of hitting either aspect really hard. I think that might be the best way. So the item
when
remains.
Necro was being built for heroes like Spectre, they would just leave it at level 1. You still see that with like Queen of Pain and other heroes.
Yeah.
They upped the mana cost, I believe, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's all they did, I think.
It was kind of, I wouldn't say it was untouched, but it wasn't as popular, and then it just found another resurgence too. Like, what is that attributed to exactly? Found like a second wind, if you...
Yeah, I think... So Spectre is a very special case. I think that was the hero buying it that got hit the hardest by the nerf. But I think for the other heroes, people just realized it's still too good. Like, they still need to get it. I mean, what often happens with patches is that something drops and then people have their initial reaction to it, and then they try stuff, and then they try the other stuff, and then they see, okay, is it still good enough? But we just had the games really shortly after that patch landed, right? So then the gut reaction is, oh, that's a lot of mana, I can't handle that on my Lycan or Spectre. And then you try and you're like, yeah, I actually can, with all the mana regen the book gives. It's all right, like, it's not a problem. So, yeah.
Well, let's just... Oh, yes. Well, I say oh, yes, but I'm going to be disappointed, I'm sure. We've seen Enchantress Pango opening from Secret and Luna Witch Doctor for Bait.
Yep.
A little bit more open of a lineup for Secret. I mean, from Bait's side, it's a little bit more clear what positions these are, at least anything super crazy.
10 seconds remaining.
But we talked about this yesterday. Secret just seems to do this, where they pick a hero, even if it's picked more commonly in a specific position, you can technically flex all of them, right?
Yep. They have a very distinct style right now for doing this. They do it every game. They value the flexibility in the draft over everything else because... I would say because when you have this individually skilled players and you're playing this well, you can count on everybody in the team to be able to play the hero in the needed way for the game. As long as it gets defined before the game starts what you need to do, everybody's going to do their job. It gives you crazy power in the draft that you have these core players that can just play seemingly anything. Because you just, you know, pick some heroes that you think are good in the patch that can play multiple roles, and then when the draft is over, you just look at what the opponent's doing and you counter them one by one, kind of. And it gives you a big advantage in laning stage into mid-game. Now, the reason I think they picked Pango in particular here instead of any of their other flex picks is I think they consider this hero really good against Luna and Witch Doctor just because they don't have a solution to Rolling Thunder at all. Luna has no mobility. She doesn't buy mobility items. She doesn't have any mobility skill. So during the mid-game team fights, BKB is like your only friend on Luna against this hero. And you need to come in close to deal damage on that carry, so you expose yourself. Witch Doctor, similar story, right? You have no solution. This hero is a bit of a solution. You can at least block him off, but it's hard to execute. Create that wall to bounce
off of.
Yeah. Yeah, or you can mess up a teammate. That's another way.
Yeah, that too.
It needs to be timed well. Yeah, I was gonna say they might just go Clockwork. Awesome pick here.
This is a pretty common pick for Secret.
Yep.
Are they essentially just playing this 3 or 4? Do they go anything crazier than 5?
It could be 5, but I think Enchantress is most likely Puppy, but it could also be Zai. The Pango can be Nisha, Zai, Yapsor. I think those 3 mainly will play Pango. And in my opinion, Clockwork is not a position 1 or 2. But if they see it being the perfect Clockwork game, they could even put it mid. If it's that good. Like right now, mid clock is somewhat
mid.
It's somewhat warranted here to an extent, but now I think it's not. You know, like it needs to be exceptionally good for it to be placed as a mid core.
Are we thinking this is most likely Dendi Batrider? We saw him. We cast a lot of his games where he was picking that.
It's him or Last Hero. I don't think this team plays it support. Maybe they do play it on 5-up, I'm not sure, but most likely the Bat is offlaner mid, Shaker is 4, Witch Doctor is 5, and Luna is 1. But they can obviously move some pieces around. If they play 5 Bat, it's not out of the question that you put Witch Doctor 4 and Shaker 3, but it already sounds a bit awkward. They're just looking at the matchups that they have. Batrider's really good against all 3 heroes, but now Secret gets to start counterpicking. So some heroes that are good against both Luna and Batrider are magic immune heroes that want to get up close, so like Lifestealer, Juggernaut. Don't in particular like PL as much here, because there's a Shaker, but even PL could be fine. Slark is a possibility. There are definitely options here.
Radiant team.
Looks like they're going to pick the...
Okay, so they still keep it open. But they have the next pick as well. I'm assuming this Visage will go mid.
Every single one of these picks is technically a flex pick if you really want to look at it that way. Very cool.
You'll see that pattern in Secret drafts a lot if you look through the recent games. This is not unusual for this team anymore to be in this spot. I think the Visage is also, they play it on both Nisha and Matu, but I think they've also played it on Zai, so technically they could be all 3 core positions, and you can play Visage 5 and 4 too, if you have the strategy, so you can all the roles. But at this point, you're probably putting it core, and you're last picking another core that wants to play Visage's type of let's group up and push towers and get Roshan games, or something like Lone Druid, Jugger. Once again, I really like the idea of something like Jugger or Lifestealer here. I just think it rounds things off very nicely. Good Infest Friend in Pango and Clockwork. Looks pretty stable to me. But obviously there's like, what else do they have for their players? They have some sort of Matu specialty here. Ursa is in the pool. Decent. He's good against Luna. He's actually surprisingly good against Bat, as we've seen lately. So maybe Ursa is on their minds. really considered an Ursa counter. I've just seen Ursa do well in lane with the new skill build where you max the Earth Shock, and if you have a lane partner that has a bit of pressure, you honestly just shove into this bat and pressure him early on and don't let him play. It's been looking pretty good. It's still a lane Batrider can win, especially if he has the right help, but it's not as... Doesn't seem as stupidly Batrider favorite as it did a couple months ago. Oh, they banned the Lifestealer. Okay, so...
One guy, you said Juggernaut is your other hopeful pick.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I just don't know if these teams rate Jugger for anything right now. Obviously, barely gets picked ever, but this is a very good Juggernaut game, for sure. Can secure him in lane very easily with Enchantress. Their side lane of Clock Pango will actually fare all right here, I think, against, say, Witch Doctor Luna. Or Shaker Luna.
How's Troll?
Yeah, also fine. Fits with Visage. It's another hero against Batrider where you would be like, oh, that's not good for Troll, but it's Troll Ench. It's like a god tier lane. I don't think Batrider will likely win that lane with a Shaker. I think it needs more help.
Good news for Bait is they do technically get the last pick, so with the Batrider being either off lane or mid, you can change that accordingly.
Yeah.
To what Secret actually picks.
Seconds remaining.
Yep.
They do have plenty of reserve time as well. I mean, the cool thing about doing all these flex picks is if they don't deal with one of your picks, like the Pango or Ench or something to that degree, you switch that up and you pick a support here, in theory. But I don't think that's going to happen because...
I think in theory they already have 4 heroes that they can play support, so I don't think they need any more supports. They can swap the other pieces around.
Yeah, I just meant the theory behind picking the flex picks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They have to address the picks one by one, or else it can turn on it for sure.
Carry a battle.
So this is
maybe
something they picked recently. Let me see exactly how they played it against Nigma, I believe.
Actually, insane pick here. It's super good. I wasn't considering it because it's not, you know, a traditional carry, but it really fits the bill for this game for the same reason. Hits the timing with Visage, has a way of dealing with Bat in lane, and can run up and be up close and personal with Luna, which she hates. So I really like this pick.
Technically, not only good in lane, but a Photic Shield against Lasso in general. Not that I mean, he's the core, but still. He picked up a Helm Radiance in the last game that they did lose. Okay. But see if that ends up being the case again.
I think this is a better pick than Jugger, actually. I think it's really, really good. So, nicely done.
And Bait with the final pick. Ember is still in the pool. I don't know if it's good here necessarily. I would say it's good against Pango at the very least, but surprised that it's actually untouched thus far, considering both teams, pretty much every team plays the crap out of the hero. It'll be a Storm Spirit though, so Dendy Storm Spirit.
Yeah, Secret are a bit low on stuns. I can see it. Like, they have Hookshot and they have Rolling Thunder, but that's it. So it's a very free movement Storm game. The dangerous thing, obviously, playing into a lineup of this kind from Secret is Storm Spirit doesn't really handle playing into hard sustain very well. Like, if he doesn't find kills in his first half of the mana pool, he kind of runs out of juice and has to go back to base, unless he's very farmed. But if Storm gets very farmed, then Secret have kind of missed the timing of their lineup that they're looking for, right? So it's under the circumstance that they don't execute. Secret's lineup wants to win this game at like minute 20, I think. It's like insanely strong at minute 20 when they hit all their auras, get a Roche maybe, and go down a lane. And can Storm Spirit deal with that? If there's, like, say, a pipe at Battens saves, Ench heal, maybe a mech, Glads, could be tough.
If they had a Weaver Ags, maybe. That was quite broken, if I do say so myself. But yeah, you're right. Storm is a little slower to ramp up sometimes. Luna, in the meantime, we've seen, I think it was actually maybe Bait we were casting, where Luna was getting a lot of farm, but it just cost everybody else their life. Like, she was just a one-man army, essentially, which just wasn't enough, because everybody else just could not keep up. But they do have a pretty active lineup, so...
Yeah, and if Bait get there, they're in pretty good shape in this game. You can definitely see how they win this game. I would say it's still mainly later on that they truly win, but if they can stay afloat and get through the dangerous mid-game, I see them have a very good chance of winning this game after, say, 30 minutes. But they need to really weather the storm here and make sure... If I could pick 2 heroes in their lineup that need to have a really good start, it's probably Bat and Storm. If they can somehow enable both those heroes, even if it costs Luna a bit, it's probably going to pay off. Because, yeah, let's say you give Luna a good game and then she starts jungling, as per usual. She can't... I don't know if they can buy enough time for her to reach the point where she wins the game. But the other way around, if Bat and Storm have good games, they can find kills, and that can buy time for Luna to come back. So I think that's what they should probably be looking at, if possible. But let's see how it plays.
This is difficult to do because there's one team that we both favor, but whose lineup and lineup alone do you like more?
If these two, like just in the lineup in isolation or the lineups versing each other with no team names on them?
Yes, no team names.
I think I like the Dire lineup more.
Bias.
Under the assumption that both teams are equally good, which is what they are if you don't have names, right?
Yes.
Then I think the Dire lineup will win more than 50% of the time at this skill bracket in a competitive game. So, but let's see. Obviously, the fact that it's secret versus bait skews it way more in that favor.
Yes, I would say so. It becomes 51% then, right?
Exactly.
Now, the opposing outposts are both being captured for each respective team. See what the final lanes end up being as we are approaching the 30-second mark. So it is Nisha playing the Visage. Do you like Visage or Visage, or do you switch it up to keep people on
I always
their
say
toes?
Visage. Always.
Always.
Visage sounds French, which is how you say it in French. And what English does to all the French words that they take in is that they bastardize all of them and say them in an English way. So why should this be any different?
Like coup de grace, coup de grace.
Coup de grace. Coup de grace.
Ra, I can't say ra. That's a hard one. Ra.
Coup de grace.
Coup de grace. Grace. Loy. Loy. Loy.
Could you hear my dog?
No.
Oh, you just said it right after he barked. I was like, wow.
Really?
Yeah, that was insane timing.
I have dog hearing, Cinder, and it's really good. Yapzor in the bottom lane is actually blocking these creeps, as Witch Doctor for bait will be trying to do the same. He's going to take a little bit of damage as a result, though. Matu with the Curse of Avernus already leveled, and he's going to do heavy damage as a result of this. God damn, that's pretty nice. It is a tri-lane for now for Secret. Obviously, Enchantress will be in and out, but it's going to be Yapzor Clockwork with Matu's Abaddon.
Abaddon.
No, don't you say it. Don't you say it.
So basically what the outcome of this should be is that bait get their 2 core. I think they should give a really good game to start. They don't have to stay with them forever, just make sure that they get enabled. Both of those have a good start. Storm against Visage is a good lane for Storm in the beginning. And Bat versus Pango with even a Shaker helping out should be extremely easy for last hero. I honestly think 5-up can even move right now. Either try to kill mid or go and assist bottom if they feel like there's any purpose in that. But for now he is sticking around top. Maybe they'll try a kill here with Firefly, but Zai made sure to get rid of the stacks. And he's finding his level 2 now, which is also going to help him have a secondary way of dealing with the bat through the slow. But they're going to try here.
Yeah, they're going to try 4 stacks of sticky napalm. There, Fissure incoming. Dylan's done it. He needs it. Swashbuckle into the other side of the trees. Okay.
Right,
they still see him. Can he continue to chase? Pops the mango. That's 7 charges now. Puppy continues his rampage on couriers. But the first blood goes to last hero on the Bat Rider.
Yep. Now he's level 3 and Pango is level 2.5. Pango will get a stick though and return to top or a full wand. Bottom lane, Yapzor. Okay, no battery assault or they would have gone there.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Puppy will not get as many courier kills as yesterday, playing the Enchantress instead of the Weaver. I actually forgot to look up the stats, if that even exists, of how many he killed. I'd be interested to know what the record is, because that has to be close. I'd be shocked.
Oh, Luna's in trouble bottom. He's in big
coming
trouble.
to help him out. Plus, only level 1 right now. And he's going to TP back to the tier 1, I assume. Will be successful. I mean, the Witch Doctor.
If he dies there after TPing, that is terrible.
Yeah.
So at the very least he got out, but he's getting bullied, right? It's no surprise that Luna is losing this lane really hard. Don't know if Shaker, once again, if he's outstaying his
lane, by the way.
Necessity.
Zai, he already used his Swashbuckle. Matu actually TPs here. You can see a Photic Shield. They're going to try to turn this around to the Bat Rider, and they do successfully.
That's a really good play call.
1 Abaddon.
That's a super good play call. Because what happens now is, let's say Bat respawns. He has two choices. He can go top, in which case he's laning against a Baton who doesn't care, so he's just gonna farm. Or he can TP bottom, but then Luna can't TP since she just TP'd away from the kill attempt bot.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, this is really, really smart from Seeker right now. It's like, there's no good play right now for Bat. He needs to run bottom instead of TPing, so he has the TP option later. And that means he's not getting anything for like 30 seconds. And in the meantime, everyone on Secret is getting stuff out of their lanes, so this is really, really good stuff.
So does that mean Luna will switch lanes as well to the top once the TP's back up?
Yeah, but it's dangerous, right? Then she's playing in the off lane against an overleveled Abaddon who can get help from any of the supports, and then she has nowhere to run to.
Mid lane, yeah. Dendi getting the gank here from his old teammate Puppy with that Mud Golem. It's actually about to expire, but when it expires, two little babies come out and they destroy you. That's exactly what happens here. So looking at the mid lane, 21-6 CS versus the Visage 11-6. So Dendi's actually winning this lane pretty handily, as you kind of were expecting. But the gank will certainly help.
Yeah, and they even TP in Witch Doctors to try to help, and he failed. So this leaves other lanes more susceptible now. They know Fishman can't rotate for a minute. Looking at Puppy here.
Top lane, Swashbuckle with the Aphotic Shield applied. They don't want to do too much damage because it might kill Chrysalis, and it does with that fissure. Dooms his teammate, and he looks to be next on the list. Oh, the Fishman is here. Zai taking extremely heavy damage, but it's not going to matter. Does finally go down, but it's a 2-for-1. Matu. Okay, he dies under the tower with the Maledict applied as well.
Interesting.
It is 2 levels, a nice fairy fire keeping Fishman alive. Yep. But Dendi comes in, and it looks like Puppy... Actually, Storm is not level 6 yet, so...
He doesn't have a point in Vortex, so yeah, they can't get him.
Puppy's fine. Very fast hero. Looks like Clockwork takes the spell. They won't be able to chase the Enchantress any further, it looks like.
The last hero might need help here. Zai has... Oh, he doesn't have boots. Okay. He has the Orb of Venom, so if he had boots as well, he would just keep running at Bat. But like this, oh, well, who needs help from who?
Yeah, he might be able to turn this around now. That's 5 stacks. Swashbuckle is coming back. It is up to... Only level 2 right now, though. So... Get away to safety. But such a... For a hero, even though he has an escape mechanism, such a hard hero to go against in the Bat Runner. Thinking Napalm just comes... But... There is support in the way of the position 1 Abaddon again on the way. Matu looking for this potential kill. Last year's Nordic Firefly. Swashbuckle will connect. Aphotic Shield applied to Zai. Looks like he's going to go all in for this. Looks like they'll find it. Will he burn? Nope. He shall survive again. Getting out with little HP. And they get the Bat Rider.
And in the meantime, pressure is mounting in the mid lane. Puppy and Nisha. Dendi needs 1 CS for level 6. There's no creeps dying. Oh no.
Familiar did die, but it wasn't experience, I don't think. And Storm.
Oh my god.
He gets twice.
6 as he gets
that is really unfortunate. Now Fishman might be next on the list here, and indeed he is. So a 2 for nothing as Yapzor lives on another hero for Seeker, just living with a sliver of HP.
And he even has Tranks.
What is this?
He even has Tranks and Clocks, so he can stick around. He doesn't need to go base and full reset. I think, in my mind, this is probably the single best position for in the game to get this item on almost always as your first item. Tranquil and Clock and any mana item is just so good. You just keep putting that pressure. Matu will get killed here.
My goodness.
Went too deep and they rotated a lot of heroes. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. If he was level... No, even if he was level 6, I don't think so. But Luna in the top lane, my goodness, kills all over the place. Fishman does have his cask. And the Maledict is applied.
Oh, he got 6 on the wave.
And let's see if he tries to TP. It doesn't have a TP on him right now, but the Maledict looks like it's going to run out just in time. Very little HP. He just goes down to the right click. Visage also died in the bottom river, Cinderin.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still recovering from this cycle. That was great. He had every opportunity to just roll away, but he thought maybe he'd get 1 more bounce on Fishman and then kill him with Swashbuckle.
Yep.
And got a clip on the front page to Reddit, but not the case.
Yeah. Well, right. It's top of the net worth in terms of his overall farm right now. Is Puppy again with a courier kill?
He did give away a ward there though. Last year I immediately pinged it. There's no way he attacks that from that angle without having lane vision. So he traded a courier for a ward. It's not really that good. It's like alright, I would say. Yeah.
It's not that good, Synderen. Not worth.
It's like somewhat even. Like it's really hard to say, right?
5-up was taking a little bit of harassment damage in the mid lane. He's trying to give high five to Nisha, which he is not reciprocating right now. Very rude. Got to talk to Cyborg Matt about the manners of his players here. They have better sportsmanship. Top lane. Zai was getting pressured a little bit, but has all his spells basically available at his disposal right now. How fast does Bait want to play in terms of pushing towers? You're against Secret, which I assume will end up 5-manning here at some point. Nisha's actually going for the tier 1 tower in mid lane. Dendi comes in. Still doesn't have the electric vortex. And the familiars will not be able to finish up the tier 1, and it will be denied as a result. Top lane, Yapzor takes a spill. It ends up being a 1-for-1.
No proc.
Clockwork and Batrider.
He doesn't have TP on Luna. He started pushing this top tower together with just a Batrider and didn't have TP. That was so easy for Zai.
Quite fast.
Yeah, Fissure.
Washes there. Here's the cask into the Fissure, into the death. So Zai biting off a little bit too much there.
And Bait might be able to get an outpost here. Or protect it, rather. Puppy. Yep.
Oh, yep, Puppy. Gonna have to cancel. And he's gonna be, at least to a degree. They're gonna turn this around though, and takes a tumble as a result. But it's a 1 in terms of the outposts themselves. So Matu right now has phase boots. I was mentioning the game they played yesterday. He went Helm into Radiance. Do you expect something similar, or just go straight Radiance maybe? Or neither?
Yeah, there's even a possibility of just going some sort of aura style here with Vlad's first item, because you have this is going Helm in the mid lane, so I don't think we want 2 of those.
Yeah.
Vlad's Radiance is fine. Vlad's Pipe is a possibility. It's a bit more all-in-ish, and they might not want to do that. Might want to scale better. Up top.
Top lane. Yeah, we can see the roll from Zai. Puppy Orton has Maledict applied to him. He's just under the pressure. It looks like he's going to be inside the cogs right now. Zai kind of stuck in a weak spot. Gets the swashbuckle off on Denny. I think that's going to break things up likely. And Matu is finally not to help his team. He is actually farming as the position 1. And based on the fact that he's bought literally nothing, he hasn't queued anything up. He hasn't really decided. Perhaps if you get up to a certain point, you're like, okay, maybe I just sort of...
Yeah, it's possible. I think fine. It's the timing with Visage, I think it's a little bit different ingredients compared to if you went Vlad's plus another, say, medium cost item. Like even Vlad's Solar Crest actually look really nice here, I think. There's like standard offlane items on your carry button, and then the Pango. Okay, so Pango Vlad, so that means Matu is definitely not doing that. Rush Solar. Don't know if he likes it. We don't to burn this.
Fish. It's off Maledict, but will die shortly after. It's like here's connect, so good execution here from Secret as they will, and I'll group up with this Zoo to kill the tier 1.
This is where their lineup really starts being terrifying to play against. Visage has the Dong, probably looking for a Wolf at one point, going X for an extra familiar. They have the levels they need on both Pango and Abaddon. So Abaddon is an insanely impactful, even with limited arm, when he just has some key levels. Like this mid-game timing of having a high level of Fog Shield is just... It's such a crazy spell when you look at this. Sick and hard to spell. That blocks damage and deals damage. What an insane skill. Imagine another hero had that.
Oh, I could have these discussions from the last hero. He's gonna scout out the Shans very low at this point. Shot in, down with the swashbuckle, and literally just die there. Cat comes in. Then he steals the 8. This beautiful gun 8-2 to echo the plan for multiple heroes. Well, no So Bait does take the Aegis, but at what cost, as some great people would say there. That is an ultra kill for Nita. Good
That was such.
Lord.
That was such a sexy steal. I feel like they actually got away with that with 0 deaths, or maybe 1. But they got.
In hindsight, yes.
They got excited, went in with Shaker. He gets a good echo off, but Storm used all his mana to steal the Aegis. Couldn't combine with that echo. Then Luna's just way too late to the party. Like, you don't run and start eclipsing 1v4 like that. That's just, like, there's no potential there. Could have maybe traded 1 for 1, which is bad regardless. Nice steal, but unfortunately, they paid too much for that compared to what they could have. Nisha might die here.
Nisha in break. This layering of stuns here, but it will not matter.
The gold for that.
Yeah, that is a very good kill. Zai scouting things out, has his arcane boost right now, which I'm always disgusted to see on Pangolier. That's okay. I can forgive him. I think that was actually almost on for the actually it is. Ooh, he switches it up just as a 4-step. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
It's clockwork, obviously, so
Yeah,
you can, if you get a hook shot, you have a way of getting into the fight. The problem with it is, when it comes to price factor and big effect, it's very few spots in the map that you can fit that into a good echo, right? Like the enemy team will have half a second or a second to react, spread out, or be targeted with things that can stop you when you go, like pressing cogs or getting a drop ready or whatever it is. So I've seen on Shaker, I've seen it work sometimes against clock, but most of the time actually fails. Like you end up, yeah, you survive the clock, but then you can't get that big energy that you really need.
Yeah, yeah, Bad Riders runs up. I mean, the reason I was more surprised is because he had the Blink queued up, and typically if you go for 4-step before Blink, it's because you can't really afford to Blink in one step. Like, they're basically the same cost, but the 4-step comes in different components. If you're dying a lot, you can just buy them as you go. But he had enough to buy it, so very surprising. But we'll see how it works out for him. But like you said, Cogs, I feel like that is the change by over if Clock ever becomes a god tier hero. Easiest counter in the world. Another courier for Puppy? No. 5 up. On the cliff and dead. By the way, 5 up
on the cliff. 5 up.
You sure?
Yeah.
Could be the lead speaks up.
It's 5 up.
He knows yet. Okay.
Matsu almost has his Radiance. What have we got coming for Bait? Luna is now finishing a 16-minute Dom. It's not looking good for Chrysalis, and while Den had a great start in the mid lane, his farm has definitely slowed down compared
Shot
to the others.
again.
Call knockback actually. Interesting mistake from Yapsor, could even cause him a hit here.
See, clips now onto Puppy, but they're the familiars take a lot of it. Looks like the Clockwork will die first. Rolling in from Zai, looks like he's gonna find a Witch. Might the other side of the cliff as well. Does find it. Maybe a buyback for the Witch Doctor now as the chase continues for Bait. Seeing him down is dead. So the Aegis are really no mana right now.
Zai was basically at the left, or never mind. Well, he was dead. He was not gonna.
It goes through the
Yeah. I was like, oh, he just barely touched by Maledict going out of the ball. I was like, no, it works anyway, so whatever.
But
another time, that would have been really close, but no, it's
yes. I agree.
still
Because
great.
Maledict needed another buff. Yeah, very good spell. And it has the... It's the one Maledict at 20, and Maledict 8 we get 15. It is so sexy. There's a Witch Doctor there.
Yes.
Not really.
No.
Alright, 5 up with his 4 staff. Good to go, Cinderman. Anything on Bait's side that they're really waiting for before they perhaps... they have the Aegis, so it feels like they want to use this, right? I don't think it's much of a hindrance right now, but it's not like they're waiting for it.
You just blast on the front of Eclipse they used in the bottom fight, so don't feel confident when team fight, and I don't think they can either. So what are they waiting for? They're waiting for Luna to keep catching up. It's just way too far behind. Like the stage went poorly, but they were after.
But yeah, plays around it. Echo says, oh, looks like the clockwork will go down first. Matu, nice forward cancel there. As time goes on. So it'll be Fitton and ES. Absolute clock.
Yeah. Gets the with the fresh radiance onto Shaker. Super confident here going in. Oh, Sir, you don't want to be there. It's called the burners.
He's getting caught over and over and over. It feels like he would have been better off with the first half, to be perfectly honest. A lot of these scenarios. But
yeah,
I mean,
probably.
Pretty much every bat has been going boots of travel. It's just such early pressure from Secret. But based on line, we're expecting this, right?
But now he's going Crimson Guard because he feels like his team needs the tank ability against such familiars. I'm still waiting though, I think, for stuff. It may wait the fights that Bait's looking to play don't really get involved in Crimson. I think having mobility and trying to split things up a little bit and play their mobility with Shaker, Bat, and Storm is a better chance of winning than just picking up just into the Crimson Guard. I don't think you win that fight anyway. Like, it's not how you pick apart the secret lineup, because they're strong together. So ideally, split a little bit. Oh god.
Swap comes to hook shot. Absor. He's gonna find it. Kill. More than likely. No, Witch Doctor's living. Oh, they're gonna turn this around potentially. Storm's backs up onto the cliff. They get the last, but there's borrowed time manually activated to dispel. Yeah, that was very weird. Storm Spirit trying to clear the way.
Clips.
Maybe he forgot that he could activate it.
I mean, even if you couldn't, I still think Matsu dies there regardless. Like, 0% chance.
Saw somebody near him. He's like, I don't have any positioning items, no mobility items. So I have to use this center. First person I see. It's an Abaddon. It's okay. I'm using it anyway.
I mean, that's really the problem. He was probably a bit like frustrated because if he gets anybody else nearby, he knows that doesn't work either. And there you go. That's just a matchup, right? You have no mobility items, so you have to. It's very telegraphed when you go to last on bat with the top though. Like you just fly in, you find the target. Matsu has like a second or two to adjust his position and just be either the guy caught or close to the guy who gets caught. And then suddenly Bat's play doesn't really exist.
This is where the flexibility of Seaton's unbelievable. Like, if you, I don't want to backseat here, Sinner, because I'm only a divine / ancient player. But Bait, gonna go in here into Cogs as well. Force still available for 5 up. Looks like he'll be over. Turn the tap, pass it around now. Here comes the roll from Die off to 2 with that fissure, using it to his advantage, and gonna take out the Witch Doctor with ease and light the Luna as well. Now the jump the jump from Dindin back into its base. He goes.
There wasn't.
What I was gonna say is, if the Batrider ended up being a support, then it wouldn't feel as bad playing as this Abaddon, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're countered by a position Abaddon at a position 4 from the bat, whatever, we've seen that before. Jump in this time outside of his base. But not a pipe calculated. Ooh, that soul assumption took him to half Essence Ring.
So much so secret. They have Pipe on Visage, they have Proton Clockwork, they have Glimmer on Enchantress. Look at this Bait lineup and they say, okay, you guys are like 80% magic damage. Here's a 20-minute push, right? Like, you kill us. It looks like they can very easy at least. They're gonna heal up.
A lot of damage mitigation as well.
Alright, here's a smoke. They're gonna try something.
They get break. Right away. There's a hook shot from Babs onto Dindy. Can they keep him in place with a soul assumption? Absolutely. Death word to follow, but it's very brief. He does have Bible. Will probably extend it here. Nice fissure. Actually blocks them inside the base, but Matsu is just so
Fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands. On we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go. side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. turns to sun rays, and on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. On we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Radiant team ban.
Greetings, everybody! Suns fan here with Cinder. This is game 2 of the best of 3 between Bait and Team Secret for the Beyond Epic League group stage. I believe with that loss, Bait is done. I believe so. That they're out of the groups now. Yes.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
I thought it was just OG they had left. I thought it was just one match. Not sure how they have
Team ban.
9 wins.
Dire team ban.
Maybe it hasn't updated for Team Secret.
Radiant team
But
ban.
yeah, either way,
Dire team
Secret
ban.
is playing for position. Bait is done. But this is obviously
Never
really
mind.
good
I'm being
practice against
stupid.
tier
Yeah,
one team.
I think they.
Okay.
Radiant team.
So the band so far not a whole lot different. I believe Luna is the only difference. Cross-referenced. We have Bane and Oracle. Bane has been left out now,
Dire team pick.
and I believe everything else is exactly the same. Enchantress will be first picked. Last game. Of course, that was for Team Secret, so switching
Yep.
things up a little bit here.
Just want to point out.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
This just updated like before the game started. It must have been because the page I'm looking at now shows decimals as well. That were definitely not there before. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Guaranteed knocked out together with Unique. So, all right, Secret sticking to their guns. Actually, in a way, they're not completely, because they pick this ogre that I think is nice against Enchantress, but this is a hero they've actually only played on one player, I believe. This is their least flexible pick. To right now, the Ogre Magi has been puppies every game. I can play offlane. It has in the past, but I wonder what it takes for them to actually do that. They've double countered Ench. This is their go-to for it.
The Mirana we've been seeing very lately is loosely positioned, technically as a flex of Arrow can take out the creeps for enchant. How much do you take that into consideration, by the way?
It's a big part of it. I don't think I would agree that's been exclusively. I would say we've seen some 4, some 3.
I think the majority.
Primarily. Okay. I just feel like we've seen it all over the place except 5. And I've seen a decent amount of 4 games, decent amount of 3 games, decent amount of mid games. So like when we line it up like that, it's very clearly a flex pick, right? And Secret likes it against Ench because it has that flexibility against Ench regardless of role. If you're the carry and you're in the safe lane and Ench comes to your lane as a support, you can kill her creeps as the carry or as a support. And if you play offlane, same logic. If the Ench is the 5 and she's playing against you and you're an offlane Mirana, you have a solution to the pressure Ench puts. The thing that makes Ench so damn good in lane is enchant, and well, any creep you take, Mirana one-shots it, so it's a very stable way of solving Ench, basically. Now this Treant has me a bit confused. I'm not sure. I don't think Treant is particularly good against either of these 2 heroes. I'm not really a big Tree fan in general. I don't think the hero flat out is that good this patch. I think it has a pretty horrible track record.
10 seconds.
He had a...
Yeah.
How long ago was he picked like every single game? It felt like the second Ogre Magi in the game, right? You just get this big tanky guy to start that just hits like a rock, or a truck. Well, a rock hits pretty hard too. But what makes him not so great anymore? Like a first pick lane harasser, essentially.
I'm trying to remember all the patch changes from back then. Like, that was before even the economy changes, so then like the whole flow of the game is just different with timings and how much reward you get for strong laning versus good kills versus towers. I don't think in most situations, or at least in many situations, Treant is actually a deceptively weak laner a lot of the time. The way he has an impact in the lane is by going from trees, but if you have, let's say your support is Ogre and your carry is Ember, Ember starts with a Quelling Blade, cuts all of the trees down, as many as he can at least, and Treant's angles are just limited. I think teams just also got way better at playing against the hero. Just doing the right things with taking out trees, with warding patterns, with understanding when they can and can't push a tower, and it's really made the hero a lot weaker, in my opinion. I'm just not feeling that hero very much.
See.
Yep.
He's still very tanky, hits like a truck, has Nature's Grasp, which definitely be useful correctly, but remains to be seen what the full lineup is going to look like either way. Secret will take Ember Spirit, which we mentioned last game was untouched, both banning and picking, which I was personally very surprised with. But they will be taking it here.
Yep.
Now, how important is it to get... I mean, you still have... I believe Coddle is still in the pool. Is it too late to go for... Typically, when I've seen the Coddle Ember, it's like first 2.
Yeah. I think you can still do it.
What would you think of it here?
You could actually go Coddle Ember and get Ogre position 3 this game. I think it's really nice. Chakra is good for both heroes. You get double Fire Blast, which obviously both can multicast, so it's really strong. If you get Ags, it's absurd. You have 4 Fire Blasts, basically. And with Ember, needs no introduction anymore. It's been played so much, low cooldown spells. So there is actually the potential of putting that Ogre 3. I would like it. I think it's really nice.
See it, Secret.
If not, they're gonna pick a flex 3-4 here, I think, so that Mirana is still open to be mid 3 or 4, open to be 1 or 2. And Ogre is the only piece that Bait really knows, but they can't really solve in laning with their picks anymore. They already have... I guess they could go something like Batrider to try to beat Ogre in lane or whatever, but... Didn't work out very well for them last. Counter him in lane. It's like, yeah, you're picking this into Avenge that can technically swap save against Lasso, but I don't think it matters because the matchups against Treant and Ench are just that good. And again, this is a flex pick. The Batrider doesn't have to be core. It can be 5, 3, 4, 2. Tons of options once again for Secret with these 4 heroes. They can go anywhere, do anything. Yeah.
So wait, if this was a core Batrider, you wouldn't care that there's a Venge on the other team?
I think it's overrated as a counter, to be honest. It's like, yeah, countering Lasso is obviously not bad in that way, but let's compare the Venge as a counter to the Abaddon of last game, right? And look at what they provide. Venge has one solution to Lasso where she displaces herself, puts herself at risk to stop the Lasso on the Bat, and then interrupts the Lasso. Abaddon he's a bad target himself, so Bat can't jump him. He has a low cooldown save versus Venge's high cooldown save, which can then not be used offensively, and he can remove Napalm. So he's just like the whole package. Venge has that she does, and it requires level 6. So in lane, it doesn't do anything either.
Level 6 is even that is not the greatest range to be able to...
And it's like, I think a lot of people have this point of view about Batrider that is a bit outdated, I would say, where they put way too much emphasis on Lasso, when the way the hero has developed over the last couple of years has been a lot more in the direction of vision, damage over time, lane dominance, rather than, oh, I'm gonna rush dagger and catch someone, right? It's very clear from how pros itemize on the hero that that's not the preferred or even the good playstyle anymore. Like, how often do you see Bat go blink first item in Pro Dota? It's like, I don't know, 1 out of 10 games maybe, or even less. And that's probably when it's a support. If it's a core, it's like almost every game Travels or Drum. And then afterwards, sometimes utility items like Force Staff, Yules, BKB is popular. And sometimes Blink, of course, is a secondary item also picked up.
This has like a push 5-man lineup written all over it for bait. You got the Venge, Drow with the auras, obviously Ench and Tree. Typically you'd see, I mean, for some reason Visage comes to mind as a hero that would fit in this strategy.
Yeah. With the old Drower, that would have been obviously really strong. I still think it's a fine pick, but the problem is you don't know your lane matchups. Visage fares very poorly against Batrider a lot of the time.
Is that why they banned somebody like Viper that can just whip anybody mid and self-sufficient?
Maybe they're planning to pick a hero that Break really, or maybe, yeah, that Break just really ruins on Secret. Not sure if there's anything that really stands out right now. We'll see if the last year even matters for it.
Queen of Pain. Bristle was banned last game.
They banned it because they wanted Visage. Or because they had Visage. Best counters.
Thinking of Break being a big deal.
Yeah.
Huskar is obviously one like this.
I think you want somebody that just gets on top of Drow.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's a good Brood game. Oh no.
They have almost no AoE other than Queen of Pain.
There is literally nobody on bait that can lane against this hero and be happy right now. Yikes.
Yeah, that's a good Brood game.
This is a really good Brood game, and that's obviously one of the X factors or aces you have up your sleeve with a player like Matu. Is he's a carry player, but if it's the right game for it, you can put him on a hero like this. This to me is possibly the best counter to Drow Ranger in the whole game. She hates being when heroes get on top and just kill her off. She can't deal with spiderlings at all. You have Gust and then you die. It's a bit better now with the third spell, but it doesn't kill the spider army and it can move around you while you're sending out the flurries. You can't lane against Brood at all. It's a totally terrible lane matchup, and Brood just starts taking over the jungle area that you want to farm with your ult, and every time you go there you get bullied away. So really, really tough times. I think this is a much bigger outpick than game 1 for me. I'm like super in favor of Secret's draft, even disregarding what teams are playing. Like, it's this is such an incredible Brood game.
Yeah, it looks quite dominant indeed. We'll see how the other lanes end up shaping out here. So, I guess I don't have to ask you who you think's gonna win this game.
No.
Either way, I mean, this sort of
You have to do better than that.
what's the best way to put this? It's a glorified scrimmage for bait, because they want to practice with this relatively new lineup of theirs. But it feels like they've been outdrafted heavily by dominant Secret. Actually won the last game in 23 minutes, I believe. So what's the timetable looking like for... How about this? Let's go with this a different... They're all tipping Matu right now. They're disgusted with this pick. Let's look at it from base perspective. What is their avenue to win this game? You need to shut down the Brood early.
You have to crouch your lanes. I actually don't see any other strategy here that's going to work. Then you need to run over your lanes so you're ahead, and then look to pressure the Brood whenever possible. And I think the only way that you kill this Brood in the jungle is with Venge plus Quap, and at least one more hero, or the Brood just doesn't die. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean,
But
maybe Venge can do it for a very little amount of time, like when they're both just level 6 or something. But as soon as Brood gets, I don't know, the first item, a couple of, like, level 10 or something, I don't think they kill it with heroes anymore. It's a really difficult strategic game for bait to play, and yeah, Secret just identified that this is a Brood game. It's pretty rarely a Brood game nowadays, to be honest. You do see this hero picked very much, but it's still insane in the right circumstances, and this is one of those games for me.
And in the right hands, which, I mean, we've definitely seen Matu Brood before. It's one of his filthier heroes for sure. It looks like the bounty rooms will split. And let's see what the lanes end up shaping out to be. So it's going to be Zai's Batrider, Uppy's Ogre in the bot lane versus 5 Up, otherwise known as Sup to some people, the Treant Protector, and Crystallis on the Drow. So let's look at this lane first, and I ask you, how does this shape up as a 2v2?
This is a bad lane against Batrider. Drow Treant. Both heroes hate this matchup. Very prone to getting dove, don't have mobility. Look at both heroes already being very slowed down, having very limited options. And they have a front-lining Ogre to even cover for the bat, so they can't really play it aggressively very well. Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah,
on top of that, this is just
having that Ogre, all the armor tank for you, the front line, like you said.
It's like, on top of this, I don't think Drow is very good in Dota right now. I think it's one of the weakest carries for me personally. Alright, they caught Zai. They got a nice angle on it.
Zai pops the fairy fire. He's panicking! First blood to 5 Up.
Yeah, Puppy was just not near him at all. The Puppy was out on a mission trying to kill a courier, maybe. That's what he likes to do in this patch.
Alright, you said Drow sucks in this patch. You talked a lot of shit about Tree as a hero right now. Is it the handicap? Is this enough of a handicap?
I think they're still gonna lose this lane. But it helps for sure. Like, I think this was a blunder from Secret. Like, Zai was kind of playing like Puppy was there and he wasn't, and they took advantage of that and went in. But the matchup is still, it's just inherently so bad that you can see they're even TPing Enchantress down here now to help. I think they know that there's gonna be some real trouble, and this means the event 1-2 really big.
He's on stand for the event, of course. On the tree, but yeah, that will get away.
Ogre was there.
Burn down the creeps as well. I believe, yeah, last hero top in what area, but Nisha was really close enough to team up with his comrade to get the kill. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough lane. 1-2. I'm not sure what he's gonna be able to do. I mean, he's still obviously out level Yapso right now, but still very early in the game. Zai in the bot lane. Will enchant him. They do have a lot of slows in this lane. That is something I will say. The Orb of Venom, the enchant slow, Crystallis, of course, with the frost arrows. Not to mention nature. Well, you actually, yeah, Nature's Grasp. I forgot the name. So that is 4 slows since then. It's incredible. All right, what about this mid lane? So that's how they have basically no answer for Brood in lane right now. What can Dendi do as well, he'll blink away to safety for now.
Did that answer your question?
I'm trying to look at the
He's
positive
forced
light
back to
there, you
base
know?
level 4. It's not a good look right now in the mid lane.
Well,
It's,
if you're bait right now, do you bring somebody over to try to dual lane? Does that make any difference at this stage?
no.
Monta's already doing the jungle surprise here.
You have to accept that this lane is lost, and you have to get as much out of it as you can. So give Quap the levels. When she's level 6, maybe you try to rotate and kill that lane. She rotates and kills something else, but the more heroes you bring to this mid lane, harder you're gonna lose the map. Like, Brute doesn't even care. He's just gonna jungle. And, like, expend resources like this. It's not gonna be worth it. Matu's still just bullying them. Dendi didn't even get the rune.
Right now. He got the range creep, missed pretty much the whole wave though, as Matu just zoned him out completely. Level 4.5 on Dendi versus almost level 6 on Matu. So a very stompy mid lane. 32 and 3 for the CS versus 13 and 4. So of course some of that is jungle creep, but still. Top lane, we're gonna see a fire blast onto Fishman into an arrow, and Puppey will smack him down. Now a 2-to-1 advantage in terms of just the kills for bait. But how's this bottom lane going now? With Ogre gone, I believe he is TPing back though. Yes, he has returned. Back to a 2v2. Zai is almost level 4 right now, continuing to get slowed as Puppey's gonna fire blast the Drow Ranger. Not able to really get a good clip there. Multi-shot.
And just there again. Just notice how many problems bait have to fix, right? Playing Dota like this. Oh no, he got arrowed. He might die here.
He did. He
Yeah,
wanted that bounty run. Fire blast to follow. Doesn't have the heals.
It's
Down he goes.
It's really difficult to play Dota when you have to put out fires everywhere. And basically the mid lane is burning. The bottom lane didn't burn as much as it could, but think about how many people they had to send there. Enchantress started tri-laning there. Even after they got first blood, they felt the pressure needed to help it. And that also means their top lane is on fire, where last hero is now level 4 against level 6 Ember. So effectively, even though the Batriders game is bad, I would say Secret have won 3 lanes.
Right. I love the analogy, by the way. I believe the mid lane, I would consider this just the ash. It's just in ruins right now. It's already over. Not even remotely close. Dendi has come in. He scream at links away immediately. Like, he literally cannot play Dota right now. Really unfortunate. The hero just does not fare well. I mean, he does have some support in 5-up who's just going to potentially taking down my Batumba right now.
At least the new living armor is a lot better against Brute than the old one.
Dendi. Oof. A lot of damage being done.
4 on Quap.
Yes. Almost hitting level 5 here. It's Chrysalis in the top lane. Gonna team up with Devenge. Nisha did have a remnant, but didn't go very far with it. Has a couple more though. We'll get out. Spends a lot though to be able to
He
live
can't
there.
drop a remnant in TP base because he doesn't have the cooldown, so he needs to wait 20 seconds before he can do that. So that's a bit of a slight win for bait. They are of course 4,000 gold behind minute 6:40. That's us.
Slightly. I mean, 1,000 of that by itself is the mid lane.
I have a
Dendi
question. Alright,
yes.
that's fine. That's good.
That was actually a very fortunate rune, by the way. Oh my god.
I have a little bit of a
question.
quiz for you here.
Oh, I love
quizzes, right?
I do.
Oh, without looking, what do you think we expect this game is right now?
Well, I don't even have to be able to look. The win expectancy right now?
Yeah.
85%.
50-50.
What? As the arrow connects top lane onto Fishman. How's that possible?
I don't know. People and bugs are terrible when they have Brute. In a competitive setting.
That's definitely true.
Win expectancy. I mean, that really goes to show how you should probably take the win expectancy with a little bit of a grain of salt. Like, this dire advantage is massive right now. I don't know what, if I were to have a bet right now, like what odds I would give you Radiant winning this game.
Sounds
But
like one there. I'll put $1 down.
maybe not that extreme, but
Dendi
all accounts. Maybe I should just take that bet and make another.
Takes out last hero. Extends this lead even further to the 5k. See right now, tier 1 tower bottom looks like it will fall. Not exactly the greatest tandem here. Puppey and Zai, but they'll get the job done. Matu has the tower at half HP mid, but it's really less about the tower right now. It's more about just his farm discrepancies. Wave, he just cleared up the spiderling.
See, this is smart. Because now it looks like Gendy has done really well because of CIS. He killed spider.
Yeah,
He has 90 PS. It's like, guys, I won mid.
Well, he's gonna continue holding on to that blink.
It's not a bad song. If he defends mid tower, somebody needs to clean out that fire army, and it's Sonic, but it feels so bad, but it's probably the best play.
We talked about their AoE. It's like virtually nothing. Also getting very aggressive. There are 3 here for bait, so if they get vision.
He's zoning 4 heroes, or is it only 3? Yeah, it's 3. He's zoning 3 heroes behind the mid with 2 armor 9. Top lane, Nisha.
I believe he dubs the centaur stop really well done. He's gonna count on Enchantress. Chris looks she'll get out the sliver of HP.
You'll have to do better
if you're
than
fighting
that in
against in a game where we don't have heroes that are good against the brute, is there an item that you try to rush? Old school Drow might go for, I don't know, like an Aghanim Scepter or something like that. Maelstrom.
Should probably finish the treads first and then see how it's going.
And you're savage today, Cedric.
Are we watching the same game? I'm in the next game.
Hey, we see round tags every time.
Yeah, that's to call a status. They're getting destroyed, man. Like this is, it's a beatdown. It's an absolute beatdown, and it is what it is. You know, like sometimes in DOTA you get brooded like this, and
It's true.
I mean, ideally what Drow wants to go is probably something like maybe Ags, so they have something against the brood, but you have to, like, how do you get there? I think other than focus on Drow's items, it's like, how do you get a foothold on the map whatsoever? And then you start talking about items. Like, if they wait for items, the game is over. Like, they have to basically go on some full-on YOLO moves right now. They're 1,000 GPM behind in the game. 10. So, if you don't take for some smokes with your Revenge Drow plus
Whoa, Arrow completely misses Yapsor with it. Very uncharacteristic mistake there. Mid lane though, Treant Protect does fall. Last hero getting a swap. The huge kill, they'll get him. Very, very big kill. Last hero will be the trade. Puppy, the Moonlight Shadow.
There was finally a 3-man gang with the bench. They got the swap up, they got my arm out, and Crop, Edge, and Venge could do enough damage to get the brute kill. So, it's something.
If only this was the patch that's coming out in 2 weeks, where they will inevitably change the rubber band. The net has not changed. Despite that kill, there is literally no change.
That's actually a really good point about brood strategies, right? So brood strategies, when they get slap pick, a lot of the times, or well, pretty much every time, it's because it's like an amazing game where you imagine brood can just dominate. But in the past, brood's downfall, if you do very well but make a couple of mistakes when you're far ahead, your kills really punish you and your team because you're that far ahead. When it's this and the kills that if it is a good brood game and you're in such a dominant spot in the game, like it's very little that the plays that Bait could have done a year ago to get back into this, they feel like they need to do them twice over, right?
Right. Yep.
And that's tough. By the way, just want to find out how to through this with on.
Yes, he does hit quite fast.
No, not at how it looks. You'll see it later.
Alright, you know what, I'm not even gonna call this because you just made me very interested. He doesn't have bloodlust on him, Cinder.
No, he did earlier. You know what it does? It stretches all of his legs out entirely. I'm not even joking.
It stretches his legs?
See, the legs are bent, right?
They have it overgrown into a sonic wave! Holy gee, they killed somebody. Looks like a Treant Protector will cost him his life. Zion the Cliff will TP out to Sophie. Nisha will TP out as well as Matu comes in and slaps Fishman right in the back of the head. Still no bloodless onto Brood. I'm waiting. Aghanim Scepter is available to purchase now for Matu. Just needs to get that courier in position.
Okay, now that things have settled down, look at Brood right now. See how bent his legs are?
Yeah.
When he was bloodlusted earlier, they were entirely straight. Like they were just like coming out of the chest. It looked horrifying for a spider.
I'll be the judge of this.
Yeah, we'll see when we get
It
there.
made it more erect, I see.
Let's see about how we do it. Let's
Oh. And that is a very fast kill. Oh my god, look at the left to your right. What the what in the, this looks, that is terrifying.
I wonder if Matu can even concentrate. Like, I guess they're still bent a little. Like it actually looks like he's flailing non-stop.
Yeah, he is.
Wait, is that the Brood flailing animation? Is it the animation Brood has when it's gripped? It kind of looks like he's moving and flailing at the same time.
It looks like a broken animation more than a stretching of textures or whatever.
Oh.
Well, top lane looks to be the end of the tier 1 tower as we know it. The bait will be smoking here. They are 13k net worth behind. Puppy is probably not the target of choice. Not going to get back into the game with just that kill. We'll transition up to the top lane. Nisha does have a fire spirit up. They can catch him though.
Are they gonna swap into Overgrowth?
Yeah, last hero. There's a swap, but the instant
Sick slide.
remnant.
That was quick.
Quick boy.
Slide dodged the gust, and then he got off his remnant. Oh, Matu is still being absolutely disgusting. Oh, now he's fast too.
He's coming. He has the
Stop
Aghanim
Nightmares.
Is actually taking a lot of damage. Big kill. They get him into the Sonic Wave as well. Will Secret want to continue? The trade was with the Vengeful Spirit. Nisha, not a whole lot of mana to speak of right now. Puppy continuing to get those multicasts off. Treant Protector pops the wand, but will likely go down to the right clicks. And indeed he does.
The Brood though.
They sure did. What was their net worth lead? Wasn't it 30? Didn't they just gain 2k?
I think they got
by
more.
losing?
I think they got more bounties, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, Secret got both bounties.
But despite losing Brood. Oh, we can see. Yeah, very even, which again, I don't understand. It's a Brood for 2 supports. No way in the world that this should be even when you're 15k behind. Very strange. Either way, oh, Zion looks to be pretty dead here. Completely surrounded.
Less
Not hammer, but yeah. Do a lot of damage, but Dendi should live. And Matumba continuing to consume the enemy jungle. So has the Treads Ags going for Yasha into what exactly? What do you buy in this hero nowadays? People get Bloodthorn, or is that an old school thing? I actually haven't, since they
it's
changed
pretty good on
Bloodthorn, I'm
Brood.
not sure.
It's solid. I think the Manta is the most important item first, just so you can get out of Overgrowth and Gust, and then it's way easier for him to play fights. Don't think BKB is really needed here, necessarily. So Manta, Bloodthorn sounds pretty good to me. You can also get a damage item. Blast is in trouble mid.
Yep.
Candy.
Fire Blast onto
they missed time
The arrow is not in time. Mistiming them a bit here. Perhaps a little overconfident. Very happy with their Brood pick. We're gonna have a potential team
Oh
fight.
my god, Zion's doing
Comes
so much
down,
work
but
here.
Secret just continues the pressure. Crystal's already super low, forced to go back into his base. Overgrowth is available, might have to use it next to his tier 3, but instead they'll just die. 2 dead, buybacks on both Drow and the Treant Protector, as Secret will bide their time. Reset and probably just go back in. I don't see another. I mean, they are pretty close to a couple items, but they are so far ahead and they have to know this. But I'm gonna play a little bit safe. Still have the Roshan potential. I mean, with all this map control, figured that would be relatively easy to do.
I'll take your 1,000 to 1.
Deso, we didn't shake on it. Deso almost done here on Nisha's Ember. And Blink almost done for Zai. So he's gonna have the initiation on top of basically the guaranteed Meteor Hammer target. Another smoke here for bait. They do run into Nisha, but kind of an issue. Like, even I'm trying to think of the best way for them to actually even initiate off of that. Like, if you swap, that's still time to remnant out. You need like an Orchid or something.
I have to swap into Gust.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
Oh
he's
my
dead.
goodness.
Yep. That's some damage. Matu actually popped his ult for that, surprisingly. Still have some outer towers to take, of course. Basically mid and bottom remain at this stage. Have they lost the tower? They have not lost the tower yet. Has there been damage done to the tower, Cinder? I'm checking that
Yes,
out right
top
now.
has taken 487 damage, and mid has taken 49.
Enchantress is, well...
Oh, Dandy's in trouble.
There we go.
Top Zai.
Okay, we can cast 2 different team fights at the same time. Zai is getting a kill there. Chrysalis, oh, looks to be the next death for Bait. The baby swap here for last hero kills Fishman again, and this time it will also cost him his own life. As this was a mega stomp.
Yeah.
And we talked about how the games that we've cast in the past actually looked very similar to this, but this felt possibly more from just purely picks. Like the Brood, I mean, you said it pre-game. Hero answer for this hero. We can't say we're too.
They're just.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't